Hi guys, and welcome to Needle and Threads, and today's tutorial is Bauble Boxes. So this simple ball that I have made, when we squeeze at the corners then it opens up to reveal your hidden gift. So it's quite a simple one to do. I've given you two sizes at the bottom patterns to use, but you can enlarge these or make them smaller on your photocopier. And if you don't want to do Christmas bauble boxes, then here's another idea for the same tutorial. I've enlarged the ones that I've put at the bottom for you, and I've turned it into a little dummy carrier, which is a great present for somebody having a new baby. You can hang that on your pram and somewhere safe to keep your dummy tits. So let's get started. Choose the pattern that you want from below. So we've got an inner and an outer, I'm going to call them lemon shapes. So the cardboard is cut 3 pieces of cardboard on the inner shape, and also a piece of felt if you want to. This is just optional. If you stick that to the back of the card, it makes life a little bit easier when we want to stitch them together. So I put some felt onto the back of this one, but I haven't done that with the green one. It is optional. And we obviously need to cut out 3 of our outer fabrics using the larger lemon shape. So the first job then is using some PVA and gluing your cardboard to the back of your outer edges of fabric. Once that's dry, then we can glue on some decoration, should we want to, onto the front. So we should have 3 pieces now for each box. Now I'm going to put the backing fabric on, and that is cut out the same size as your cardboard, so the smaller lemon shape, and we'll want 3 of those. So we're going to peel off this double-sided sticky tape. You could use PVA, and you could use some pegs to hold it into place. The actual double-sided tape doesn't stick very well to fabric, but all we're looking here is for a temporary fix. So whichever way you do, gluing them down and putting some pegs in till they dry, or using your double-sided tape. Once they're dry, then we are then going to cover the back with some PVA glue all the way around, making sure that you've got it nice on the edges as well. And then our backing fabric, which we'll have 3 pieces of, and they will be cut out to the smaller lemon size, the same size as your cardboard, will be glued onto the back of your pieces. Now it's a good idea now to put them on some plastic so it doesn't stick to your table, and then put a nice heavy book over the top and let your 3 pieces dry completely. I like to give you guys some tips and hints. So you don't have to cut out your backing fabric. If you find it easier, you could stick it down to your backing fabric. Once it's dry, you can cut it out. And these bits of decoration, some of the decoration is very uneven, and it makes it difficult to hold it down. If you put a book on, it's still not flat. So when you glued on your decoration, put a piece of foam on top before you put your book on, and that will push down all those uneven surfaces and get the glue to work so much better for you. Whichever shape you've chosen now, you should have 3 of these pieces all stuck down with your backing fabric. Trim it off if it's not quite, if it's sticking out a little bit. We've got a red one on this one. So trim it all off and get it ready for the next stage. So the next stage then is we're going to get 2 pieces of our finished card, and we're going to put them together, and this is called whip stitching. Now this is where I suggested that you put a piece of felt in between the top layer, because it makes it so much easier on your fingers when you stitch them together. So the green ones I didn't, and found them a little bit harder to stitch, but not impossible. But with that little bit of felt, I'm actually stitching through the fabric and the felt rather than keep catching the cardboard. So when we're doing our whip stitch, do be careful because we're using our thread double here. Can you see that sometimes not both of the threads are going through, so we do need to pull nice and tight on that thread. The whip stitch, then hold it down, hold your thread down with your finger and stitch through the two top layers of fabric, pulling them together nice and tight. So I've just lifted my lining just a little bit and I've stitched a little bit of ribbon into the top, ready to hang it with, and then optionally then you can put a tassel, which I've put on the bottom, but that's totally optional. Now to the tricky part. So if you're sewing, this is so much easier if you hold it towards your body, so your body can hold all the pieces in. So here goes. So if you've got a design on it, make sure your design is all facing the right way. We're going to whip stitch these pieces together again, and I'm using double thread, which I've mentioned before. Just make sure that you put 2 or 3 stitches in the top. We want this really nice and secure, so that it holds its tension and opens correctly. So we're going to put 2 or 3 stitches in there, and normally I'd have this holding against my body and it's a lot easier to hold. So we're just going to pop those 2 bits, we're going to open it up so we create our box, and then we're going to whip stitch over, and I'm going to get a nice close-up here so you can see much clearer detail. And you can see the lining fabric poking through. So what I'm doing is picking up the outside thread, and that piece of felt underneath is helping me. So I'm picking up the top fabrics, and as we pull it together nice and tight, then it's closing it up so we can't see the lining. When we get to the bottom, then, because I've put a tassel in this, it wants to naturally open up a little bit. It wouldn't be quite so bad if you didn't have the tassel on. So I'm going to put 2 or 3 stitches in the bottom here, just to make sure that the whole box is closed. And I'm going to do a nice double knot with it, which we've shown in previous videos. We do a loop, create a knot, repeat the process, but I'm also going to do one final stitch through all of that stitching to make sure it's really nice and secure. And there we are, we have our boxed bauble complete. So whatever size you want to try with that, have fun with it. Even more fun giving them to your friends and family as gifts. So keep watching. Next time we're going to be doing some of this bird bunting for Christmas. Take care.